Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Monday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Andre, and I'm both host and founder for BSTL. And of course, by now, you know that BSTL stands for Building Something That Lasts. And of course, if you haven't done so already, can I just encourage you to like and subscribe to our page? I know that you've been to Spotify and Apple Music, and if you'd like to come on to RSS, you just type in BSTL and we will pop up there. So I want to jump right into this conversation. I'm excited today. I've got one of my daughters who has agreed. I didn't have to pay her off or anything like that. She wants to come on and talk a little bit about leadership. So, Aiden, go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
What's up? What's crack-a-lackin'? I'm Aiden Elise Anderson, and I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, so Aiden, as we've done with every other guest that has come on to the podcast, maybe there are two things that you could just tell us about who you are so that we'll get a sense of who you are as well.
Gladly. Number one, I like to play the bass guitar, and number two, I like fashion.
All right. Anything in particular about fashion?
Uh, I like blouses, jeans, t-shirts, vests, blazers.
Yeah, you got your own style
Yeah.
going on.
Mhm.
So, Aiden, as part of our conversation that we've been having with people all over the world, we've been talking about organizational leadership and leadership. Both of those things are topics that kind of go hand in hand. And of course, because you are a young lady and you're coming up and you're not a baby anymore, I wonder what are your thoughts about leadership? How do you create change at your age?
Leadership is at my age like following what people do, like being a trendsetter at school, like wearing some things and that could be like an influence, music, just the way that people act, people just follow. Yeah.
So it sounds to me then that leadership has a very pivotal role or a very important role in shaping how people live or maybe perhaps what they become. Is that a big responsibility at your age, or is that something that's fairly easy?
I think it's a big responsibility because maybe as a leader, it's like maybe I don't want you to copy my style or just like I want to be unique. But sometimes as a leader, you just have to deal with it.
So, isn't that a compliment, though? The idea that there are other people, other young people, and maybe even older people, because I think you're kind of cool as well, that may look at how you do what you do and say, I want to be a little bit like her because I like the way that she just does things and it's not like everybody else.
I guess that can be a compliment, you know? Uh, yeah.
So, Aiden, what are some of the characteristics then that you think are important in becoming a person who will lead positive change? What kind of attributes do people need to have?
You need to be strong. You need to be driven.
Hmm.
You need to be like focused and you need to be willing to do what you're going to do with any like consequence that leadership gives, I guess.
So then, what do you mean when you say driven? I like that, by the way. That's a great word. What does being driven look like to you?
Um, being focused and not letting anything get in the way of what you're doing. Uh, being happy with what you're doing, and also, I don't know. I guess that's how I would sum it up.
Okay. So I would imagine that there are a lot of distractions at your age. I mean, there's a lot of distractions at any age, right? So, what are some of the things that might prevent you from becoming the leader that you have in mind for yourself in the future?
What people would say about me being a leader, like that would like make me less driven than I would be before. Um, a lot of technology. I would say would make me distracted. It makes me distracted. So, yeah, that's like a really really big thing. Um Maybe a little bit of jealousy because you want to have your own thing, and if there's another person who has more than you, you'll want to do what they're doing, but that will take away from your uniqueness, I guess.
So I like that because I think part of what you're saying then is, yeah, technology. And I'm thinking that you're talking about like Instagram and Facebook and some of these different platforms. But I like the fact that you're also saying that at times the distraction of other people wanting to be like you and or you wanting to be like them. Because the truth is, while there's a lot of space for leaders, I think what the world is looking for are leaders who are uniquely themselves and comfortable and confident in who they are.
I agree.
So, what are some of the things then that you're going to start doing, right? So, this is a big year for you. It's a pivotal year. You're going into grade seven, and that means you got one more year left in elementary school, and then you're off to high school. What are some of the things that you're going to be more intentional to do this year as you transition?
I'm going to be more productive, like doing homework when homework is given out. Not letting people distract me, like my friends, because that happened a lot and that wasn't great. And also this year, being, I guess, nicer this year, because niceness can get you, kindness can get you a long way. Uh,
Yeah, and I like that because we're still talking about character, right? So the idea of being nice means that you're not just nice to those that are nice to you, but you're also nice to those that you may not necessarily get along with, right? So, how are you planning on implementing this?
define that word,
Implementing,
yeah.
yeah, implementing. So, how are you going to make this thing happen? How is Aedenn Elise Anderson going to make it happen so that she becomes, or at least continues to build on the leadership skills that you already have?
Being an example, I want to be an example just so you to be like you can live your life. You can be a fun person and also be a strict-ish person. You can I want to be a I guess someone people can look up to,
Hmm.
like be like from the people that you see, from the people that I see, I want to be like them, kind of. Yeah, kind
So,
of.
so how do you determine then, Aiden, what's a good person to look up to and what's a not so good person to look up to? Are there certain characteristics that different individuals have?
Yes, I think a good person to look up to is Jesus.
All right.
Because you should do what he does,
Mm-hmm.
like how he lived.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feel a way like, I really want to rough this person up or I really want to do something to them, just like think, what would Jesus do? WWJD, you know.
Yeah, and I like that because the truth is, every leader does model their life and their behavior after somebody, right? Like there will always be somebody that you can think about and say, okay, because of the way that this person is, I want to model my life after them. But then there's also opportunities for you to model your life after others. So I agree with you 100%. The Jesus piece, it's
Hmm.
right there. What are some of the other attributes or personality types or people that are out there that you know of that you're like, ah, I want to be a little bit more like them?
People from YouTube, kind of.
Okay.
People from TikTok, like the people who can just wake up early in the morning, get get ready, all those things, like, and also just be focused and productive. Um, can I name some actual names?
Sure.
Uh, One, I want to be like, what's her name? What's her name? I want to be like Oprah Winfrey. I
Okay.
really like her. I really really like
Okay.
her. I want to be like,
Well, hold on a second. Let's not plow past this. So, what is it about Oprah that you really, really like? Like, why her?
she can stay calm in situations. Like, if a person that she gives the mic to is like,
All over the place.
yeah, 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 she can just like stay calm and be like, I don't think this is what we should be doing at this moment. She can just stay really calm, and I want to stay really calm because I'm not the calmest person at all.
Yeah. No, well, I don't think well, I'm your dad, so I might have a bias. I like the way that you do a lot of things, even when you show emotion. I think that showing emotion is a part of life and it's a part of being a leader. And even though I think, and I agree with you, that Oprah Winfrey is a really incredible leader who's done a lot of great things, she's not the only person that has demonstrated great leadership and great restraint when interviewing and talking to individuals. So, aside from her self control, is she the only person, or is there another person that you really look up to?
Uh, I guess my grandma,
Ooh, okay.
because I think she is one of the nicest people ever.
Yeah.
She just, she's just willing to cook for you, clean for you, just make sure that you're okay. Uh, I really, really love her. Grandma, if you're watching this, which you probably are not, but hopefully you are, I love your grandma. I really love your grandma.
Okay. And she may not watch it, but we'll find a way to get her to listen to this. So, you're also adding another dimension to leadership, right? Because grandma's a great leader. And what makes her a leader is also the fact that she's selfless,
Hmm.
right? So, is that important?
Yes,
And why?
because there's a difference between selfless and selfish.
Okay.
And I think you should be selfless because it would feel nice for the person that you're being selfless
Hmm.
to just feel like you got their back and that you're always going to be there for them. But being selfish, it's just like, can I count on them to do this for me? And like, yeah, I think.
So, because you're at, I guess, the beginning stage of your life, you're beginning to observe leaders. Some leaders you really appreciate how they do what they do, and then others you're like, I don't really want to do that. How do you think you're going to be the change or create some of the changes that are required to change the world, right? Because you're almost 12, right? And so you've got so much life ahead of you,
Yeah,
and you're courageous and you're intelligent and you're beautiful and you've got great ideas. You've got a fantastic mind and you're loving and you are definitely somebody that people can depend on. But above and beyond all of that, what else are you going to do to make your mark on this planet?
trying not to be like other people. Even though that's kind of a good thing, I guess.
Hmm.
But I also want to. I want to. Stop like procrastinating and like being like, I'm gonna do this, but
Tomorrow.
a year passed or yesterday passed or something passed, and then that's just another day wasted
Yeah.
that I could be doing something.
So maybe for those that are listening, because even though you're younger, I know that there are times I too can procrastinate. So it's
Hmm.
not really an age thing; it's a person thing.
Hmm.
What are some of the suggestions that you might have that would help people to move beyond thinking about doing something to actually doing it?
I think if you watch people do it, that will give you some sort of inspiration
Mm.
or like, yeah, that word. I think if you actually just get up and do it, you'll definitely do it. I think, or you can just take it one step at a time, just doing little things to build up to what you're gonna do.
Yeah, and I like that because sometimes when you've got things that you've got to take care of, It looks really, really humongous, right? It
Mhm.
looks like there's so much to be done. And maybe you're absolutely right that instead of trying to get it all done, you just need to do a little bit at a time. And maybe by the time you do a little bit at a time in increments, after a while, you'll find that, whoa,
Mhm.
I can't believe it. I'm done. But then you also said another thing. And believe it or not, you're talking a little bit about mentorship, right? So in this world, nobody is an island. And because nobody's in an island, you're always going to be connected to and with other people who can show you and demonstrate and model. So are you going to find a mentor soon?
Someone to help me?
Yeah.
Uh,
You think you're too young for that?
yeah. I think I'm my own mentor.
Okay.
Or just like family is my mentor, or
Yeah.
mentors,
Hmm.
plural. Uh, I don't think so.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So for now, you think you're going to be able to do this thing on your own. So I wanted to ask you this other question because this is a conversation that I've been having with our listeners for the last year and change. Um, when we look at change, is it worth fighting for?
Definitely, I think it's worth fighting for.
Okay, well, I don't know, maybe you can give us an example of something that you've seen out there, out and about, and you're like, ah, I wish I could just make some changes, and here's how I would do
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I was talking to my sister upstairs,
it.
and we were talking about cruelty-free stuff.
Okay.
So I think that would be a big change because I was watching this animation, and basically there was a rabbit, and he was talking about his life as a tester, and it just made me kind of like tear up because it was like, wow, they really do this. So I think it would be great for people to stop doing that and maybe like just try it on different things because there is definitely different ways that you can test
Products.
products. And I also think for Black Lives Matter, I really love the way that the community all comes together, white or black, anyone,
Hmm.
you know, just coming together to support us. Black Lives Matter. I say Black Lives Matter. You should also say Black Lives Matter
All
as
right, I
well.
believe Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think um,
So how would you bring change, right? So I know that during the pandemic, we had an opportunity to march with other
mhm,
people from all over the world,
mhm,
and we were pushing back on racism and systemic racism and some of the other things. I mean, we talked about a lot of things at home to really push the point that you are an important person, regardless of your complexion, regardless of your gender. We wanted you to really understand that you are a big deal, regardless of where you come from. So, how then would you implement that kind of change? How would you help people to understand to value people, not necessarily because of their skin
mhm.
complexion, but because of the content of who they are, because they have been created by God? How would you help to make the world a better place or change some aspects of the world that we live in based on how we treat people? What would that look like?
I think telling people maybe a couple times would be good because I think people take it as a Christian. If you're spreading the word
Hmm.
and people are like, "Why are you spreading the word? Why are you trying to force your beliefs on people?"
Hmm.
I think that maybe just go about it like tell them once so that they are like because you should spread the word to people so that maybe they have a chance at going to heaven and all those types of things. I think also.
So you're saying that there may be a correlation with how we see God and how we see and treat people.
Mhm.
So if we love the Lord, and yes, I know that you are a Christian, and because you love the Lord, you're going to try and help the world to see people through the eyes of God.
Mhm.
I like that. So, Aiden, believe it or not, we've had a great conversation, but I wonder, is there a takeaway? Is there something that you would like to leave our listeners with? Like, of all the things that we've talked about, is there something that you'd like to summarize that's really important to you?
Yes. I think be you, be authentic, Um, try your best to be focused and driven, and also try to make a change in the world because some people won't make a change in the world.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that last part. I think a lot of times, Aiden, when we think about and we talk about change, we're hoping that somebody else will be able to create that change. But in listening to you, I think I'm now even more clear that change isn't going to happen by encouraging other people to change. We have to become the change that we
Mhm.
would like to see.
Mhm.
And when we become the change that we would like to see, some people may not get on board with it. Some people might push back and be like, I'm not going to do this because it's too much work, too much effort.
Mhm.
I'm going to have to get up and actually do something. But it sounds to me like you're going into grade seven with a new mindset. And you're saying, look, regardless of what everybody else is doing, I'm going to draw from some of the people
Mhm.
that I'm watching on YouTube and on television. And I want to make sure that I grab the good things from them and then also implement some of the other things that I've learned, whether at home or even through the Bible. And I think if you stay the course, Aiden,
Mhm.
you're going to be a name and a face that the world is going to become very familiar with because I think that you have the capacity to create change.
Mhm. I yeah.
So that's Aiden Elise Anderson. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. And to those of you that have been listening this week, we thank you for joining in. And we want to make sure that in our conversations, they are transgenerational. Sometimes we wait way too long to hear from the next generation about how they see change and the things that are important to them. But the sooner that we implement and allow them to be a part of is the longer of a period of time that they'll be able to serve and create a world that may never be perfect, but it will be better because of their input. If you'd like to have a broader conversation about this, please don't forget to email me at bstlinc21. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share this conversation with others that would like to learn about change through the eyes of a young person.
Mhm.
Until next time, take care. Bye for now.
Peace.